Have you ever met someone who seemed confident about intimacy, but you couldn't quite explain why? It wasn't something she said directly. It wasn't a confession, just subtle patterns in how she talks about relationships, attraction, and emotional attachment. Sometimes it appears in her comfort with certain conversations. Sometimes in how casually she navigates boundaries that others approach more carefully. Other times, it's in the way she frames past experiences, open enough to hint at a story, yet vague enough to leave the details unspoken. The tricky part is that people often assume a person's past is obvious or easy to read, but human behavior rarely works that simply. Experience, personality, and emotional history blend together in ways that can easily be misunderstood. And for many men, curiosity about a partner's past isn't about judgment, it's about understanding compatibility, values, and the kind of connection they're actually building. In this video, we're going to explore some of the subtle behavioral patterns that can reveal how someone approaches intimacy and relationships, so you can interpret those signals with more clarity rather than assumptions. When the initial signs begin to surface, they often wear the mask of uncanny compatibility or wordless understanding. In this section, we will deconstruct the first two psychological patterns, where speed and distance create a subtle paradox. 1. Intimacy develops extremely fast. The first pattern is an emotional trap that many men often mistake for destiny. Intimacy develops extremely fast. In a typical relationship, intimacy, both emotional and physical, requires time to build. It is like climbing the stairs of trust, one step at a time. However, when you meet someone where all boundaries seem to vanish after just a few encounters, and closeness happens at breakneck speed, pause for a moment to observe. In psychology, when an individual has navigated many different romantic scenarios, they often lose the sense of strangeness or shyness associated with intimacy. Closeness is no longer a sacred milestone, it becomes a familiar routine. They know how to accelerate the pace and skillfully create a sense of belonging. Confusing speed with deep connection. You think you are moving fast because you are soulmates, but in reality, that intimacy sometimes lacks the foundation of true emotional investment. According to Femina Mind, observe whether the actual understanding of each other's characters is keeping pace with the speed of physical escalation. 2. She treats emotional distance as normal. This is a fascinating paradox, a silent defense mechanism. She may be very enthusiastic and open during fun outings or moments of closeness, but the moment the conversation touches the threshold of true vulnerability, you feel an invisible wall appear. She maintains emotional distance with professional ease. People with complex romantic histories often develop a protective shell. They can be very comfortable with superficial intimacy, kisses, holding hands, glamorous dates, yet remain extremely cautious about allowing anyone into their inner world. They have learned how to enjoy the connection without having to bet their entire heart, trying to use greater effort to pull her closer, which often only causes her to retreat deeper into her shell. The Femina Mind perspective, we emphasize observing emotional availability. A person can give you a vast amount of time, but if they do not give you emotional honesty, the relationship is merely operating on the surface. Ask yourself, are you falling for a real person or a role being performed with professional precision? If you feel you are in a relationship where everything moves fast like an action movie but lacks the depth of a love ballad, leave a like for this video. It is your way of confirming to yourself that you are beginning to see through the illusions of temporary emotions. Next, we will continue with the signs of a worldview so realistic it borders on skepticism, where past experiences have molded a very different perspective on love. When emotional barriers are professionally established, they often come with a thinking filter that is extremely practical. sometimes even pragmatic. In this section, we will analyze how past experiences mold a worldview of affection filled with skepticism and a surprising degree of flexibility. 3. She has a very practical view of dating. You will notice this in the way she speaks about love. Instead of rose-colored dreams, she often views relationships as an exchange of value or a time-bound arrangement. Phrases like, "Nothing in this world lasts forever," "Everyone changes eventually," or "Love is just one part of life, don't over-romanticize it." These are not random remarks. In psychology, this is a form of adaptation mechanism after experiencing many ups and downs. When someone has witnessed too many breakups or held expectations only to be disappointed, they build a practical mindset to shield themselves from future shocks. Nurturing the hope that I will be the special one who completely changes her cynical outlook. In reality, according to Femina Mind, you cannot change a belief system built on blood and bone experiences with just a few promises. The correct action is to observe whether that practicality is accompanied by honesty. A practical person can be a great partner, but an extreme skeptic will keep the relationship in a constant state of defense. 4. She navigates social dynamics very smoothly. This is a skill honed over time. She seems to always know how to control the atmosphere around her. She is very comfortable in social environments, understands the unspoken rules between men and women, and knows how to react flexibly to any communication situation. You will see that she is never flustered, always maintaining confidence and sometimes even leading the interaction. The deep analysis, rich social experience allows a person to read situations and people very well. They know what men want to hear and how to create attraction without much effort. The common male mistake, immediately labeling this confidence as a negative intention or a lack of fidelity. However, at Femina Mind, we advise you to focus on how she treats you specifically. Social mastery is a tool. What matters is whether she uses that tool to build or to manipulate. A sophisticated woman with a rich history often possesses immense attraction, but it also requires you to have a matching level of character so as not to be swept away by her vortex. These patterns are like pieces of a complex puzzle. They reveal a soul that is no longer naive, yet carries the sharpness of experience. If you find yourself attracted to this sharpness, but also slightly anxious about her excessive practicality, hit subscribe. We aren't here to fear the truth, we are here to master it. We have traversed the signs of speed, practicality, and social coordination skills. Now, let's reach the final turning point, where you must face the truth about compatibility and how to protect your own value. 5. Your relationship expectations don't fully align. This is often the most painful reality to face. After moving through various emotional levels and different types of relationships, a woman often tends to redefine commitment in her own way. You might be searching for a passionate love, tight-knit bonding, and long-term promises. But for her, commitment might simply mean, we are together as long as we're still having fun. When someone has tasted enough heartbreak, they no longer view commitment as a mandatory destination. They prioritize personal freedom and inner peace over being bound by a social mold. This doesn't mean they are wrong or you are right. It simply means two people are coming from two completely different experiential journeys. Trying to convince her to believe in your love by sacrificing more or becoming emotionally needy. According to the Femina Mind mindset, we remind you, you cannot use your sincerity to fill the gaps in someone else's experience. If your expectation is a deep bond, but the partner can only offer superficial companionship, that is the moment you need the clarity to reassess compatibility. The most important thing is not how many experiences a person has had in the past. The past is something we cannot change. What truly matters is, do both of you share the same vision for the present future? A woman with a rich history can absolutely become an exceptional partner if she has learned to transform those experiences into maturity. Conversely, if those experiences have only left behind skepticism and detachment, then you are facing an incredibly arduous challenge. The goal of this video is not for you to investigate or interrogate anyone's past. At Femina Mind, we believe that understanding these psychological patterns is meant to help you. Maintain clarity, don't get swept away by the illusion of rapid intimacy. Manage expectations, know exactly where you stand in the other person's world. Protect self-respect. Do not trade your value to chase someone who isn't ready to open up. A sustainable relationship isn't built by digging through the ashes of the past. It is built on honesty, respect, and clear standards in the present. Be the man with enough character to accept the truth, rather than trying to sugarcoat a mismatched reality. As this video ends, ask yourself one simple question. Are you trying to find the truth about her past to pass judgment? Or are you trying to understand if the two of you truly belong in the same future? Thank you for walking with Femina Mind. Don't forget to subscribe so we can elevate our mindset and fortitude in every relationship. Understanding is the strongest weapon of a modern man. See you in the next analysis.